I'll have another reason to hate Christmas. What are they doing?
We're watching Snow White. And they love it.
Hello and welcome to the 4th annual Would You Die Gremlins Holiday Spectacular.
Whoop whoop.
I'm Austin Torrez.
And I'm Anneliese Petersmark.
And I'm Jeremy Lippett.
And Merry Christmas!
Yay! We did it.
We did it. We saved Christmas because we're putting out the special for you to listen to.
What was going to happen?
Well, the people would have nothing to listen to while they were driving between all their Christmas events.
Fuck yeah, we saved Christmas.
Yeah,
That's
we
what I'm
did.
saying.
Santa wishes.
Correct.
Santa probably did his job too. I hope you guys, if you open your presents already, I hope you got everything you wanted and then some. I hope your spirits are merry and bright. And yeah, happy holidays. Hanukkah has ended, but happy Hanukkah.
Yay.
This is the Gremlins holiday special, and I want to make sure we're inclusive of all of our holiday homies.
Correct.
So it's not just Christmas that we're celebrating today.
It's all of the holidays. It's a Happy New Year, even.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Yeah.
Happy Easter.
Valentine's Day is so much closer. You could have gone
It
there.
is.
For sure.
It is.
But Easter too.
Sure.
All of 'em.
Passover.
Yeah.
Happy Lincoln's birthday.
Eid.
Lincoln's birthday.
Don't talk to
Ramadan
me about
Mubarak.
Lincoln's
Don't
birthday.
talk to me about Lincoln's birthday.
I can't wait until we get Gremlins 7 where she talks about how Ramadan traumatized her too. Same.
I love that. That is awesome. But yeah, so I'm excited. We have a killer lineup of guests from the history of the show, plus new friends
Yay.
who we're all going to talk, not all at once.
We're all going to talk over each other.
That
About
would be
Gremlins.
insane.
We only even have one microphone, so we're all just huddled around one mic.
Right now.
Screaming
in the
into
studio. No, just kidding. But
It's literally like a scene from Gremlins.
if you tuned in yesterday to the feed, then you saw that we have released our Gremlins episode. So you already kind of know our thoughts and feelings on the movies. You can listen to that first or after this if you want to kind of get more of a into the Gremlins holiday spirit, if that's your bag. But yeah, like Austin said, we have a ton of guests here to talk to you about their feelings on Gremlins, their hopes and dreams, the very core of their being, all of that.
All in 3 minutes or less.
Correct.
But before we get to our guests, how was your 2025?
It was good. You know, it was a lot of like ups and downs, but for the most part, had a lot of really exciting things happen. Joined the podcast. That's been so great. Started my 5th year teaching. I am now officially a tenured teacher, which is kind of crazy and fancy. And I love that. So yeah, I mean, doing some great things.
Hell yeah. How about you, Jeremy? What are you proud of accomplishing in 2025?
Similar to Anneliese, I started my 3rd year teaching. I love my job, love the stuff I get to do on a regular basis, being part of this podcast. I coached my first season of baseball this year,
Very nice.
which is weird to think about that was this year.
Yeah.
Like, because I always think in terms of school years,
Mm.
right? So it feels like last year, but it was in this calendar year. So we'll be starting that again soon for the 2026 season. Listen to Would You Ball for updates on the junior varsity baseball team that I coach.
A Would You Die Patreon exclusive for only $3 a month.
Real.
But yeah,
Listen, Christmas has turned into a capitalistic hellscape it's been like this since Arnold Schwarzenegger tried to get that Dan Turbo Man doll and Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
So, money please.
What about you, Austin?
What are you proud of this year?
I'm proud of a lot, actually. Longtime listeners of the Would You Die podcast know that this year has been extremely different from the rest of the show's years. It's no longer a interview-based show. I have a dedicated co-host and Jeremy.
We have a Jeremy.
We got a Jeremy.
But no. All seriousness, I love this show now, and I look forward to what we have cooking in 2026 and beyond. But I look forward to doing these every week, and I just I'm really proud of what the podcast has turned into. It's one of my favorite things I got going. I look forward to it, And 2025, Blood Witch did pretty well. Mm-hmm. It came out in 2024, but its festival run was in 2025, and it got nominated for some awards, and it won a few, including a lot of best makeup and best villain nominations, which that makes me really happy.
Which is awesome, yeah.
And it crossed 10,000 views on YouTube somewhat recently, so I'm proud of that film. And 2026 is going to be a lot of fun. I shot 2 short films over the summer of 2025, and I directed one, wrote and produced the other, and they'll be hitting festivals in 2026. They're close to being done at time of recording. So I'm excited for people to finally see them. I'm excited for them to be done. And I got some things cooking film-wise, so 2026, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think especially with Blood Witch winning, best villain specifically, with the fact that this podcast started out as a villain podcast. It started out as talking about bad guys, and now we've kind of enhanced it to be talking about full movies and topics and everything, but at the core of it, the core of every horror movie is its villain, right? And so I think it's a high honor when you're talking about the horror category to get nominated and winning best villain.
It really is, and
it's a testament to your filmmaking and your writing prowess.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited for what the future brings, and just put in the work, see what happens. But yeah, speaking of iconic villains and friends of the Woody. No, I was thinking of Gremlins. I don't want to say it like that, but then I was thinking of our friends, and I'm like, oh, I just implied they're villains. Maybe they are.
We'll let them identify how they want to identify. Maybe they are villains.
Yeah, it's basically 2026. We can give them this honor. But yeah, so let's get into it. Our first guest is...
Hi, my name is Chloé Harper Gold, and I'm a writer and film critic. I was in elementary school the first time I watched Gremlins. I went to my friend Kate's house for a sleepover, and her mom took us to Blockbuster to rent a movie. Kate also loved scary movies, so we immediately went to the horror section to look around. A few months before this, I had seen a few minutes of Gremlins because it was playing on TV, and I think my brother or my dad was watching it. And I remember being really curious about this movie and really wanting to watch from the beginning, so of course I was thrilled to find the Gremlins DVD right there on the shelf. Kate was down, and she convinced her mom to let us watch it because it was rated PG, so how bad could it possibly be? My favorite moment in Gremlins is the entire sequence with Mrs. Peltzer going head-to-head with the Gremlins. It starts with her in the kitchen baking cookies, hearing some weird demonic laughter upstairs, and then grabbing a knife and going up to investigate, where she finds the open gremlin cocoons. Billy calls her to warn her, but then the phone line is cut, and the Christmas carol, Do You Hear What I Hear, starts playing. She goes downstairs, immediately turns the record player off, and then something throws a plate at her. And then we get the iconic scene where Mrs. Peltzer takes down 3 gremlins in her kitchen in delightfully gruesome ways. The first gremlin is messing around inside the blender that her husband made, and as a reminder, this blender doesn't work very well and always makes a mess. But she turns it on, which of course kills it, and it sprays green blood all over the cabinets. And then a second gremlin starts throwing plates at her. So she grabs this like folded mini table and uses it as a shield, and then keeps walking towards this monstrous little thing, tells it to get out of her kitchen, and then proceeds to stab the gremlin to death with a kitchen knife, which she had already been carrying to defend herself because she knew that something horrible was roaming around her house, and Mrs. Peltzer is no damsel in distress. And then finally, we get to the third gremlin, who is hanging out in front of an open microwave and gets her attention by throwing a baking sheet at her. Mrs. Peltzer grabs a can of bug spray, sprays it directly into the gremlin's eyes, gets it to retreat backwards so that it's inside the microwave, and then she slams the door shut, turns the microwave on, and then watches the gremlin explode. But it's not over yet because she hears more noise coming from the living room, so that she grabs 2 knives and goes hunting. One of the things that I love about this scene is that we watch something shift within Mrs. Peltzer, and the actor who portrayed her, Frances Lee McCain, plays it so perfectly. She doesn't watch the first gremlin die because she hides behind the wall as soon as she pushes the power button on the blender. But when the second gremlin starts throwing plates at her, we see her fear turn into fury. The second gremlin is genuinely shocked that instead of running away, she's getting closer to it, and it screams right before she stabs it. Mrs. Peltzer stabs it 3 times and then watches as it struggles to cling to life. And then finally, with that third gremlin, there's zero hesitation, and she doesn't look away when it literally explodes. In this scene, Mrs. Peltzer transforms from your average suburban housewife to a stone-cold monster slayer, newly invigorated and more than ready to increase her kill count. And it's just so perfect that this scene takes place in a kitchen, which is traditionally the center of domesticity. In the new year, I'm excited to write and continue to work on the projects that I've already started and also start some new ones. I recently started a YouTube channel about the folklore and mythology behind the show Supernatural. The channel name is According to the Lore, and hopefully by the time this episode airs, my second video will be up. And I'm also excited to see my friends do amazing work of their own. And of course, I'm also looking forward to all the new horror films that 2026 will bring.
Hi, my name is Josh Taube, and I am the producer for Horror Film Roulette, and I am also a horror filmmaker. One of the big projects I had the honor to work on is a film called Quick and Painless, where I was the showrunner and executive producer. Believe it or not, the first time I watched Gremlins was actually about a week ago when Austin asked me to put this together. And I gotta say, I am a huge fan. My favorite moment is when one of the gremlins ended up in a microwave, and definitely was not expecting to see that in a PG movie. 2026 is going to be exciting because we have a ton of projects ahead. We're going to make our festivals bigger than ever, and I'm just looking forward to how everything turns out.
What is your name?
My name is Joseph Sheldon Quick. I'm a professional gaffer and filmmaker.
What do you do in the horror world?
When it comes to like horror films, obviously I'm a lighting specialist, so I definitely assist with the lighting going towards the emotion that we're looking for in the scene, but I've also been known to do some practical effects and blood effects.
What were some of your projects this year you'd like to plug?
Well, when it comes to horror, the few things that come to mind are Don't Come Looking, which is a Native American skinwalker type thing. It's very PG-13 type of horror thriller. There's one that should be coming out spring of 2026 called Tweed, which is very like alien and sci-fi, but horror. But what I'm most excited about, what dropped this year, is a show called The Agency, which is a sitcom like The Office or Parks and Rec, but very Detroit based, and I feel very, very lighthearted and funny. So. Oh yeah, and The Agency is also on Tubi, as well as the movie Don't Come Looking. So really, yeah, if you're not hip to Tubi, get on Tubi. It's free to start. It's free to sign up. It's free to watch. There's some ads, but it's really great for the independent film community. And yeah, there's a lot of projects on there that I have. But those two I have ownership of, and they came out this year.
When was the first time you watched Gremlins?
The first time I watched Gremlins, I love Gremlins and Steven Spielberg, by the way, but the first time I watched Gremlins, I was probably around like 8 or 9 years old, and I watched it with my sibling, my little sister, and my cousins, and my cousins were a little older, and this is a funny story. They made make believe that they were like going up to get snacks because we were watching it on the basement TV in my aunt's house, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna go get more popcorn," and they came down and started like gumming behind the couch and acting like they were gremlins, and really scared us. But it definitely made an impactful moment for the movie.
What is your favorite Gremlins moment?
My favorite Gremlins moment. I love a lot about this movie. There's so much to say, but if we're just going to cut to the chase, the actor Judge Reinhold is somebody who I've always thought is underrated, but mostly like this is the first time you see him be despicable. So like you meet his character in the bank at the end of the intro, and then you see this like beautiful artistry like sketch by the guy, and the main guy, and he's being complimented by somebody in the bar, but then here Judge Reinhold walks up after you met him, so you're kind of expecting him, which is beautifully done by Spielberg, but he really shows his despicableness there, and I loved seeing Judge Reinhold like yield that acting muscle, because he's never been allowed to or presented with that ever. He's always some sort of wholesome. Even in Beverly Hills Cop, when he was like gun-toting, he was wholesome. Like it was nice to see him despicable.
What are you excited for in 2026?
So when it comes to next year, when it comes to 2026, there's a lot on my plate right now that will predict what's going on next year, but I've been working my whole life to build a studio in Detroit that is by the people, for the people, and looking to change the face of the entertainment world. And I never thought that I'd be given the opportunity to fully chase that dream. Originally it was something that was kind of scaled back and achievable, like through hard work and ethic, right? But when you have a great idea and you get put in front of the right people, sometimes great things happen. And I hope that next time you hear from me, I'll be telling you about these great things.
Dustin Hendrix here. I'm a horror writer and filmmaker. And this year in 2025, I was very fortunate to finish a couple of projects. One of which is I finally launched my first children's horror series called Creep Tales. The first book, Night of the Living Pizza, I self-published and released in June of this year. So Creep Tales, it's kind of my Goosebumps homage, but that's kind of a long-term project. I'm already working on the second book in the Creep Tales series. And also this year, I did finally release, not like officially, we did a light release around Halloween, but I have a short proof of concept slasher film called Halfway to Halloween. That is a proof of concept that we are aiming to put into festivals next year with the plan to make a Halfway to Halloween feature. It's a coming of age slasher. So those are my two main projects that I was able to achieve this year. And for me, Gremlins, it's a very special film, especially around this time of year, for obvious reasons. I just watched it again yesterday, and I have a memory of watching Gremlins. I remember it was like me, my dad, and like some of my younger siblings, and my mom went out of town, so we went to the video rental store and we rented Gremlins and Jaws. And I remember I had a headache around that time, and we watched Gremlins, which there's some pretty gnarly kills in it. And so I got through that just fine. But then when we watched Jaws and they showed the body, you see like a body that's kind of like chewed up a bit. That kind of like did it for me. And I ended up just retching just from everything. So yeah, that was close. That was probably around the first time I saw Gremlins. And it always really stuck with me and how fun it is. And I love the puppetry in it. And again, it's pretty gnarly for like a kid's horror film. My favorite part is, of course, it's Mrs. Deagle's death on that chair that like goes up the spiral staircase. I remember my brothers and I just like cracking up so hard. And especially because she really had it coming, because she's like just a nasty POS. But that's my favorite part of Gremlins. So next year, I just became a parent. And next year for me, I really hope to just continue to keep, being a dad, being the best dad I can be. Again, get halfway to Halloween in some festivals, publish the next Creep Tales book. And then I also have another short horror film, Camp Solstice, which we shot in 2022, and we finally finished wrapping. We actually finished the last of pickups about a month or so ago. So I'm hoping to also release that next year.
Hello, Would You Die listeners. This is Landon Defever coming to you live with my contribution for this year's Gremlins Holiday Spectacular. Now, for those who don't know me personally, I am a Michigan-based film critic and podcaster that covered plenty of horror in 2025, all of which you can find between my Substack and podcast Films for the Void. I started the Substack at the tail end of last year, and coming into 2026, I have since become a member of the Michigan Movie Critics Guild, where we collectively awarded Sinners with 8 awards this year, including Best Picture. Now, some of my favorite horror movies this year, including Sinners, are Zach Cregger's Weapons, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, Francis Lawrence's The Long Walk, Adam B. Stein and Zach Lipovsky's Final Destination Bloodlines, Steven Soderbergh's Presence, Charlie Pollinger's The Plague, Michael Shank's Together, and Emil Christine Blickfeldt's The Ugly Stepsister. 2025 was an exceptional year for cinema, and great horror was in no short supply. However, I am here today to instead talk about Joe Dante's 1984 film Gremlins. And oddly enough, the first time I watched Gremlins in its entirety was maybe 6 or 7 years ago. It wasn't a film I necessarily grew up with. I threw it on in preparation for the Christmas season because it directly ties itself into the holiday with the plot itself, which I'm sure this is why Austin has it every year. But to be honest, I had watched bits and pieces of it as a kid, but never in its entirety. But admittedly, I kind of found it irritating on first watch, oddly enough. I think it's because it wasn't what I was expecting at first, mostly how much time was devoted to the actual crime spree of the Gremlins themselves, which honestly I found kind of annoying. Like there were aspects to appreciate for sure, but it wasn't something that I fully clicked with. However, over the years, I've since watched it a couple of more times, and I honestly think I was just in a bad mood the day that I watched it a few years ago, because my second and third watches that I've had since then are really what made me click with it. I really like the adventure it takes us on, knowing what I was getting into this time. I liked the performances and the pacing that Dante employs. It moves very well, and it's surprisingly accessible for a holiday horror film, where I think a lot of horror holiday films tend to go super extreme on the imagery to juxtapose it against the good time Christmas cheer. Gremlins does a great job of balancing the two out. I think the reason it survived for as long as it has is because of its devotion to being a good horror film and a good family film, which is very difficult to accomplish. As my favorite Gremlins moment goes, I'd have to say anything involving Gizmo is a pretty safe bet. He's a very lovable character with charm and empathy, and he's a great mascot for the film itself. And the same goes for Gremlins 2, the new batch, which surprisingly I think is a little bit better than the original. So take that for what you will. As for 2026, I'm excited to continue writing, building a following, networking with other movie fans, and spreading the word of great cinema. If you want to join me on that journey, you can subscribe to me on Substack at filmsforthevoid.substack.com. You can also find my podcast, Films for the Void, wherever you're streaming podcasts. And you can also find me on Twitter at IGotDefeverman, on Instagram at Duhfever, D-U-H Fever for that one, and Letterboxd at Landon Defever. Thanks for listening. Thanks to Austin for having me on, and happy holidays.
Hello, everyone. I am Bradford Clark. I am a first assistant director in the Metro Detroit area and a co-host of a film recommendation podcast called Unorthodox Film Podcast with my partner, Joseph Quick. My earliest memory of Gremlins was at a family gathering, one of those ones where there's too many people in a small house, and it was only a couple years post-release, I imagine, because this was definitely late 80s. And I, at that time, was terrified of anything horror or horror adjacent. So I sat calmly, because I'm an introvert, watching this thing from across the room, not getting any of the funny from it, and never really considering going back. So when I watched it again in adulthood, imagine my surprise when I found such a glorious, fun movie. My favorite Gremlins moments, I was going to say the bar scene because there's just so much happening, but upon a recent rewatch, I think my favorite gag, my favorite moment was the carolers taking out Mrs. Deagle. That was probably my top moment this last rewatch. Some of the projects that I worked on this year included a couple of horrors. There's one coming, what is it called? Crazy Bones. Crazy Bones is a slasher film that we filmed in the boonies of Michigan, somewhere near Kalamazoo. And then Murder Mitten from Blue Clover Studio. That was an incredible fun monster flick that we worked on. And then our film studio, Unorthodox Film Outcast Studio, with Joe and I, we did a short earlier this year that I got to direct, and we will be releasing that in a newer cut in the following year in 2026, and we're going to see what we can do festival wise and see if we can't get another short made. So thank you, everyone, and Merry Christmas.
My name is Joseph Sheldon Quick. I'm a professional gaffer and filmmaker. When it comes to like horror films, obviously I'm a lighting specialist, so I definitely assist with the lighting going towards the emotion that we're looking for in the scene, but I've also been known to do some practical effects and blood effects. Well, when it comes to horror, the few things that come to mind are Don't Come Looking, which is Native American skinwalker type thing. It's very PG-13 type of horror thriller. There's one that should be coming out spring of 2026 called Tweed, which is very like alien and sci-fi, but horror. But what I'm most excited about, what dropped this year, is a show called The Agency, which is a sitcom like The Office or Parks and Rec, but very Detroit based, and I feel very, very lighthearted and funny. So, oh yeah, and The Agency is also on Tubi, as well as the movie Don't Come Looking. So really, yeah, if you're not hip to Tubi, get on Tubi. It's free to start. It's free to sign up. It's free to watch. There's some ads, but it's really great for the independent film community. And yeah, there's a lot of projects on there that I have, but those two I have ownership of, and they came out this year. The first time I watched Gremlins, I love Gremlins and Steven Spielberg, by the way, but the first time I watched Gremlins, I was probably around like 8 or 9 years old, and I watched it with my sibling, my little sister, and my cousins, and my cousins were a little older, and this is a funny story. They made make believe that they were like going up to get snacks because we were watching it on the basement TV in my aunt's house. And they were like, "Oh, we're gonna go get more popcorn," and they came down and started like gumming behind the couch and acting like they were gremlins, and really scared us. But it definitely made an impactful moment for the movie. My favorite Gremlins moment. I love a lot about this movie. There's so much to say, but if we're just gonna cut to the chase, the actor Judge Reinhold is somebody who I've always thought is underrated, but mostly like this is the first time you see him be despicable. So like you meet his character in the bank at the end of the intro, and then you see this like beautiful artistry like sketch by the guy the main guy, and he's being complimented by somebody in the bar. But then here Judge Reinhold walks up after you met him, so you're kind of expecting him, which is beautifully done by Spielberg. But he really shows his despicableness there, and I loved seeing Judge Reinhold yield that acting muscle, because he's never been allowed to or presented with that ever. He's always some sort of wholesome. Even in Beverly Hills Cop, when he was gun-toting, he was wholesome. It was nice to see him despicable. So when it comes to next year, when it comes to 2026, there's a lot on my plate right now that will predict what's going on next year, but I've been working my whole life to build a studio in Detroit that is by the people, for the people, and looking to change the face of the entertainment world. And I never thought that I'd be given the opportunity to fully chase that dream. Originally it was something that was kind of scaled back and achievable, through hard work and ethic, right? But when you have a great idea and you get put in front of the right people, sometimes great things happen. And I hope that next time you hear from me, I'll be telling you about these great things.
My name is Marleigh Arnold. In the horror world, I am primarily an actress, but I also do special effects makeup. I'm a stunt performer, and I am also an intimacy choreographer. I was in so many amazing projects this year, but the project that I would like to plug is a film I was a part of called Tomahawk Holler. It is my favorite death that I've had so far to date, and I'm not going to say what it is, so you'll just have to go watch it. The first time I watched Gremlins was embarrassingly this year, but I absolutely loved it. My favorite moment in Gremlins is when Gizmo comes out of the vent and shoots the big bad scary guy with an arrow. Mostly because I love the fact that it's he has a Molotov cocktail. I think that's lovely. And also because it's just the moment of being yes, go little guy. In 2026, I am just excited to keep working on amazing films, keep working with amazing people, keep doing what I'm doing. I'm starting the year off right. In January, I have 2 horror films that I'm working on and a mystery that I'm working on, so I am super excited for those.
Hey guys, Bobby Torrez here. Happy holidays. Hope you guys are having a great year and great holiday. Austin, what's up? But I'm Bobby Torrez from Bobby Likes It Scary on YouTube, and also People Under the Scares podcast with my co-host Michael Anthony. So yes, some cool things that we did this year. We ended our, I believe, fourth season. I can't count. 4th season of our podcast, and we are excited to start the next one coming in 2026 in January. So I'm excited about that. But Bobby Likes It Scary, we cover it, Welcome to Derry, every single week. And that's been a joy to talk about. We just wrapped up because of the season finale. So if you guys want to check out the panel and just the discussion of that TV show, check it out on Bobby Likes It Scary. It's a good-ass time. My first time I seen Gremlins, I probably was about 7 or 8 years old. And that was just one of my favorite movies to watch year-round. But I definitely watched it around the holidays because, hello, Christmas movie. And it just was just so much fun to watch that movie every year. And I actually just watched it last night. But I love the Gremlins so much. I had little figures and things like that. And I was just obsessed with that movie when it came out. And still obsessed with it today. A favorite moment. I have so many favorite moments in that movie because that movie's just chaos. But one that stands out to me is when Mrs. Deagle gets it, because we know that she's a horrible person. She's horrible to her neighbors, and just a Grinch, just a Scrooge, just all of the things. And when the Gremlins kind of take the wires in her little electric chair, and she gets zooming up the steps and then blasted out the window, it was the funniest thing to me ever. I love that moment so much. The scream that she is screaming going up those steps is just hilarious. So I love when a terrible person gets what's coming to them, because sometimes they just get it in the most iconic way, and she definitely got it in the most iconic way. So yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite moments. What I'm looking forward to in 2026 is just more horror. I'm excited about all the horror movies we got in 2025. But in 2026, I'm sure we're going to get some new, fresh things. And I'm excited for it. And also collaborating more. 2026, I feel like it's going to be a good year for horror and collaborations and content creating and things like that. So I'm excited for all the shows, the movies, all that stuff. Give it to me. That's it from me. Happy holidays, guys, and Happy New Year.
My name is Alec Gibson, and I'm a graphic designer. In the horror world, I actually create short film posters, primarily for Austin and his production team. The projects I am really excited to plug this year are that my company, Crosshook Creative, is officially off the ground. We went public with our website. You can find us at wearecrosshook.com. The first time I watched Gremlins was somewhere around 10 or 12. Might have been a little young, but given how scary it would have been at that time, but that's up for debate. One of my favorite moments, though, is, and it's a real subtle one, but there's this little spraying noise that happens every time a gadget is about to malfunction. And I don't know, it just added a little bit of levity to the scene. And you always kind of made me chuckle. I'm a fan of subtle humor like that. And in 2026, I'm really excited for any projects that kind of come my way for me and my business partner, Scott Waldrop. We have some really exciting things coming down the pipeline, and I'm excited to share it with the world.
Hi, my name is Deanna Hope, and I am a horror filmmaker. I started watching horror movies from a really young age, so the first time I saw Gremlins was around Christmas time when I was 7. She just got finished watching Gremlins, and my favorite scene has to be the Christmas Caroler scene when the lady gets launched out of the window. What I look forward to most in 2026 is finishing post-production on my horror film Shush and experiencing my first festival run. Thank you to the Would You Die team for having me on the 4th annual Gremlins Holiday Christmas Spectacular, and Happy New Year's.
What is going on, Would You Die podcast listeners? This is Ken Sledge of Sledgehammer Horror. Just wanted to stop in for a little bit and show my appreciation for this amazing podcast. I love Austin. He's one of the best in the game, in my opinion. I am a horror podcaster. We do Sledgehammer Horror. My wife and I am the creator and co-host with her. Some of the projects we have coming up this year, a lot of my first horror movie episodes. We're hopefully releasing another one of our short films on the channel this year. And we're going to be visiting a couple conventions along the way, so you guys can come and see our interviews with some of those celebrities as well. I watched Gremlins for the first time when I was very, very young. It's a movie that today I think still holds up. The comedy in it lands. The sadness in it lands. There's a lot of really sad moments, especially the Phoebe Cates lines when she's giving her dialogue about her father. But Christmas to me doesn't start until Mrs. Dingle goes flying out of her window. That to me is when Christmas starts. But when it comes to a favorite scene, it's got to be the Gremlins getting killed in the kitchen by Mom. I loved it as a kid. I love it now. I think she's one of the most unspoken heroes in all of horror. And I think that it's one of those movies that it works for children and it works for us adults too, because it shows that horror can be gateway. Children can love it just as much as we do. So I would say that that's what I love so much about Gremlins, is how inclusive it is to the whole community. And 2026, I'm hoping, is going to be a big year for horror. So I hope that you guys enjoy what we're getting in horror in 2026. Going to have some good requels. We're going to have some great original horror movies. So please make sure you're checking that out. And check out Sledgehammer Horror on all our social media links and YouTube at Sledgehammer Horror. But until next time, guys, keep talking horror. Stay what you are, and we'll see you guys soon.
Hi, I'm Adam.
I'm Kaylee.
Adam Michaels.
Kaylee Michaels.
And we had a first recording that we sent to Austin, and it was like 10 minutes, so we realized we got to do this one now. Adam and Kaylee Michaels. In the horror world, I paint. I'm an ink and watercolor artist, so you may have seen my artwork in the community under Adam's Art Box. What do you do?
I also hang out with Adam's Art Box, and I act. I've had the opportunity to act in one of Austin's
Who are you?
short films. I got to be in The Blood Witch. I got to play The Blood Witch.
You are the Blood Witch. Isn't that awesome?
I got to be The Blood Witch, which is really, really awesome. And then what about you?
I also act, and I will be, I've done some cool stuff. I also got to be in The Blood Witch with you, which is amazing.
Yep.
I'll also be in the upcoming horror trivia game show called Better Luck Than Chuck, where I play Charlie, So when you see that corpse husband, that's one of the hosts. That's me. I'm under a mask. So that's coming out sometime this year. We're very, very excited about it.
You can follow along on Instagram and YouTube. They're
right now,
some
the micro sitcoms we're releasing to promote the show coming up. So go check that out. And we're here because we're talking about Gremlins.
Yeah, baby.
Talking about Gremlins. The first time I saw Gremlins, well, I don't remember, but I was a kid. And I remember being, I think, scared of it more than anything, especially when it's like the part with the old lady and then the kitchen scene. But I always was intrigued by it and thought it was super cool. What about you?
The first time I saw Gremlins was tonight.
Tonight, you're watching it tonight.
And I will be watching it for the first time
Kaylee's
tonight.
never seen it, and about a year ago, I wanted to show her Gremlins 2, and I said, Gremlins 2 is the one that's not the good one. And then we watched
and
it.
I wholeheartedly disagree.
Yeah, well, we watched it, and I realized as we were watching it, this movie's amazing and so self-aware and meta and ahead of its time. And I'm going to go on record and say that I actually like Gremlins 2 more than part 1.
Well, that goes on theme with what I have to say, which is because I think Gremlins 2 produced one of the greatest
this is your
fashion
moment.
icons of our modern age, which is Greta Gremlin. I think she is wonderful. She has my heart and an incredible eye for chic. And I just love her. So.
Wow. Favorite Gremlins moment? I mean, if I'm going to go part 1, I got to go with the kitchen scene. It's pretty fun. But Gremlins 2, all of it is the greatest moment, to be fair. But I do love Brainy Gremlin. And when I was a kid, I thought Gargoyle Gremlin was super awesome. The thing was, I saw Gremlins 2 like 40 times as a kid. And didn't realize I don't think that movie realized how ahead of its time it was. So we're Gremlins 2 fans over here in this household. You heard it first. The Michaels are Gremlins 2 fan and also Gremlins 1 fan. And then in 2026, hey, I'm just excited for our little family here and for more horror. And we got some new projects we're going to be doing on the acting side of things and excited for Better Luck Than Chuck to release and
more Blood Witch.
Oh, maybe more Blood Witch.
More Blood Witch.
We'll
someday.
find
That'd
out.
Be very cool.
Whoa.
We're excited for our little daughter to
come. Our very own little gremlin.
Yep, she is herself a little gremlin. I'm looking forward to that.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas,
Happy New Year,
Happy New Year, Happy almost Halloween. We're less than a year away, guys. You can follow me at Adam's Art Box. And
you can find me there. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We did it. That was the Gremlins holiday special. 4 years of Gremlins.
Yeah.
And holidays.
True. The Gremlins holiday special actually holds a special place in my heart because it makes me think about last year when you and I knew that I was going to be your podcast co-host, but nobody else did yet. And we did that really fun live stream with everybody. And that was just such a fun time. And it always just makes me think about like that how far this podcast has come and everything and this new iteration. So I love the Gremlin special. I listened to it for all the years before I was on it. And now here we are. So
now here we are. Next year, and I've changed it up every year. It's been a little different every year. So
next year we're going to get all of our friends together and we're going to reenact a scene for scene reshoot of Gremlins.
I thought you were going to say we're going to hold a charity concert for the Gremlins.
A charity
concert. We're going to do that
too. Please help the Gremlins.
Mrs. Deagle doesn't have enough money.
For just a penny a day, you can feed a gremlin.
But not after midnight.
Exactly. So, yeah, this was a lot of fun. I hope everyone enjoyed this year's holiday spectacular. And now is what I like to do is end the show with Josie Palmer's cover of Baby Please Come Home. I'm bringing it back.
Love it.
All right. I'm Austin Torrez.
I'm Anneliese Petersburg.
I'm Jeremy Lippett.
Merry Gremlins.
Yay.
The snow's coming down. I'm watching it fall. Lots of people around. Baby, please come home. The church bells in town are ringing and so full of happy sounds. Baby, please come home. You're singing deck the halls, but it's not like Christmas at all. 'Cause I remember when you were here and all the fun we had last year. Pretty lights on the tree, I watch as they shine, and you should be here with me. Please come They're singing deck the halls, but it's not like Christmas at all. 'Cause I remember when you were here and all the fun we had last year. If there was a